Come on, Anya. Clasp it. Come on, Anya. Woo! Woo! Let's go. Woo! Best race of my life. I can't believe that. 2:43 was her previous PB.
Oh, I'm dead. That was the best racing I'll ever do in my entire life. And it's thanks to Nick and Best Athletics.
Hey guys, so today I'm joined by a runner that inspires me a lot actually, makes my job as a coach very rewarding, has progressed from a 4:34 marathon down to a 2:36, which is just absolutely phenomenal, blows my mind actually. A runner that we compete quite a lot of the time based on our ratings for a run. So Anya gets rated as a female for her runs, I get rated as a male, and we've been pretty close to date. However, she's pulling into the distance, and yeah, I can't wait to see it play out. But yeah, she now, as of very recently, is representing England in the marathon distance.
Oh my god.
Absolutely blows my mind. So yeah, I mean, did you ever think you would get an introduction like that? What does it feel like to be able to run and represent your country in Copenhagen in May?
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I never thought I would have an introduction like that, or if you told 2019 Anya you were going to give me that introduction, like, I'd assume you got the wrong person. It is the most amazing thing ever. I actually got a bit emotional about it, just thinking of my journey and thinking every single thing has been worth it. I've kind of had pipe dreams of wearing an England vest, and for it to like come true this year, and so early on this year, I was like, wow, this is always going to be my year, but it's even better than I could ever imagine. I told my granddad at the weekend and he got really emotional about it, and
wow.
That was really amazing. But I'm so excited. I just think it'll bring me one step closer to reaching my potential, seeing where my limits are. So I'm really excited.
Oh my word. Give me a hug.
Thank you, coach.
I can't believe it. Yeah, she told me about it last week as well, and it absolutely blew my mind. You know, like, coaching can be rewarding when runners do well, but when that happens, it's like, it's just crazy. So thank you so much for that. And one thing I've told Anya is to realize that actually, like, it can be overwhelming. Like, you know, she's come from this background which has just been social running and just improving all the time. She's now representing her country in Copenhagen in May. And actually, that it's part of the process, and you deserve to be there. Like, whether you have an amazing marathon or it doesn't go to plans, you know, marathons are not fairy tales, as we know, but the ultimate thing is that you deserve to be there. You've worked hard for it, so congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you so
Couldn't
much.
be prouder. And yeah, the best part about it all is that you still have a long way to go, which is cool. Okay, so as I mentioned in the beginning, you started off marathon at 4:34. In the space of around 2 years, you've cut down to 2:36. That was at London Marathon. Do you want to talk us? I mean, it's nearly 2 hours of your time, which is mind-blowing, like absolutely mind-blowing. Do you want to talk us through some of the factors that have helped you knock off such a big chunk of time? Obviously, a lot of marathoners and runners look at it and would just love to know, you know, how you progress so much.
Yeah, I don't completely know the answer, but I can tell you what I have done, and it clearly worked for me. I think I just completely fell in love with running, which made it really easy for me to stick to that plan. And I think that consistency is the main thing. Running with an amazing club makes it so much more enjoyable. Having support around you makes it so much more enjoyable. Running becoming part of your life, like your whole lifestyle, rather than like consuming your life or just being an additional thing for 1 hour a day. It needs to become part of your routine. That makes it more enjoyable. And it just meant that the plan Nick set me, I've always been quite dedicated to. Maybe don't look at my training peaks because it's not always green, but I do try and fit it all in because I genuinely love it, and I love looking every morning and seeing what I've got next. I'm not very good at planning ahead, and I prefer it that way. Just like looking and being like, what's next? So yeah, consistency is the main thing, definitely. And not putting too much pressure on yourself as well, I'd say. I have done runs straight after London when everything was quite a lot and it was quite overwhelming. And I would go out for the run and just panic and just be like, I don't want to do it, I can't do it. And now I've completely changed that mindset, and it's more go out and see what you can achieve, and just like be curious, because like just be like, oh, I wonder what I can achieve today. Like, I've got this huge session, I wonder what paces I can hit. And often it's quicker than I ever thought I could hit. I actually had this quote the other day, and it was it's the worst advice you can ever receive is be realistic. And the best advice you can ever receive is like shoot for the stars. Like, what you can achieve might be beyond your wildest dreams. So I think that's going to be my approach going forwards. Just seeing what I can do rather than being like, this is what I should be doing, or this is what everyone else is doing. That and
I think that's enough. Cool. So honestly, like that's incredible to hear. I think, you know what, the biggest takeaway for me is that, you know, Anya's progressed to a very competitive level now, and she seems to be only going in one direction. But you're enjoying your running more than ever. I know you said you fell in love with running. Are you enjoying it as much as you were in the beginning, if not more?
If not more, 100%. I think doing so well makes me enjoy it more. I'm yet to do a race and not PB, which one day it'll happen. I'll completely flop, but so that makes it really enjoyable. Pushing myself to my limits also really that excites me. I want to know where my limits are, so that makes it really enjoyable. And everything that comes along with running, not just the running. I now love learning more about it, and learning about the nutrition, and learning about it's much of being a pro athlete, which I'm not a full-time pro athlete yet, but it's not just running. Pro athletes are paid to sleep, to recover, to fuel, and like getting that whole 360 experience of running. That has been a big change, and I find that really enjoyable and really amazing to learn about.
Amazing, cool. Thanks so much for sharing with us. You know what, from my side, I think that Anya, a lot of Anya's progression has just come from, like you said, enjoying it, but really giving it a good go, pressure free. I think that's the main thing, is we've always tried to keep things pressure free, and it's tend to bring out the best results to date. And I hope we continue with that going forward. We definitely must. And in my experience, and I've coached quite a few runners, I think, you know what, a lot of it is down to talent as well. And I know, you know, there's a lot of runners that could have followed Anya's training the way she does, but not necessarily got the same results. So yeah, the way that this one always delivers blows my mind. You definitely have that BMT, which is big match temperament. And, you know, I think the first time you really blew my mind properly was in Rome Marathon. I set her a marathon target, and she like absolutely smashed it by 10 minutes. And I was like, that's not normal. And then since then has been getting my target every time. So you're performing well to the targets, but yeah, maybe I should be setting you slightly harder targets. But no, I just want us to keep progressing the way we are. It's been phenomenal to see and be a part of. So congrats on that. And yeah, on that note, I know your most recent marathon was London Marathon. So Anya finished the third British female overall, second non-elite. You were catching first place, by the way. Just needed a little bit more stretch of road. But yeah, I was lucky and privileged enough to do that race with you. It was honestly one of the highlights of my running career to date. Do you want to talk us through a little bit about how that race went to you? I know, you know, we discussed things as coach and athlete that we were meant to be doing a 2:38, and we thought if things go absolutely perfect, maybe 2:36 is on the cards. 2:36 is the time Anya finished on. So yeah, do you want to talk us through it a little bit?
Yeah, I was saying, Nick mentioned 2:36, but we never spoke about too much because it was like teasing the idea, but I don't think either of us wanted to commit to it. But maybe like we both knew it could happen, but didn't want to jinx it. But yeah, London was the most amazing race ever, and I think genuinely it will be one of my favourite races I ever do, because of Nick. But everything just went so well on the day. I felt the most prepared I've ever been. My running has been a really gradual increase in miles, increase in taking it more seriously, increase in intensity, preparation, just everything's been quite linear and going upwards. And so I felt really ready and more ready than ever for London. We started off in a really good group and I was loving it. And Nick, kept going, how are you feeling? Are you feeling good? And I was like, yeah, feeling great. And I think he kept saying it and I knew he was itching for when he was going to say, like, let's push on and, like, let's do it. Because I think we went through half a little bit ahead, but it wasn't until after half we said, like, let's go. There's a few really funny things from London which would just be so special to me. One, Nick ran off to the toilet at one point, and I was just like, what do I do? I was like, help, I can't, what speed do I run at?
And I've never gone to the toilet in a race ever, so that was a freak incident,
And then he came sprinting past me. I was like, I don't know how he does that, to catch me back up. And then Tower Bridge is obviously amazing for every single person doing London. But Nick was like running in weaves and he was like getting the whole crowd going and I was absolutely loving it. And he was screaming and I was screaming and then we got off Tower Bridge and he was like, Anya, calm down. And I was like, why did you do that then? So then I had to like get back in that zone of like sleep running and just one leg in front of the other, stick to that pace, have a goal in mind, just gonna do it on the day. Wow. And finishing London was just the most amazing thing in the world. I remember trying to cry, but I was so dehydrated that there were no tears. I was like crying pure electrolytes probably.
Oh, that is so awesome.
So
Thanks.
So
oh man, I just relived a bit of that moment as well. It was honestly one of the best ever. And I think, you know what, my goal that day, because like I've said, every goal that I've set to Anya, she seems to like always get it and it seems more comfortable than I thought. She does it, if you look at the race pictures, mostly like with a smile on her face the whole time. So I thought this race, I really want to push her to her limit. So I kept on like, going a little bit further until I realized, okay, cool, she's not smiling as much anymore. I was like, okay, cool, this is where she's at. Let's hold this all the way through. But what a phenomenal result.
Kept the pace though.
Yeah. You did. And you put in a big finish. Did you see the footage afterwards?
Yeah.
Of the finish? You were flying in the last 200 meters. But I'm going to be doing London Marathon again and pacing a sub 3 hour pack. So not officially, it's very unofficial, but if you're keen, join and we'll make some noise and have some fun on Tower Bridge again, favorite part of the route. Cool, thanks for sharing that with us. Okay, so very quick question. What is the favorite session in your plan, the favorite session I set you that you've done to date and love doing? What is it?
Yeah, so as you know, I'm a coach as well, or some of you may know I'm a coach as well. But my favourite session that Nick has ever given me, or one of them, it always is 2K repeats. I'm really guilty at trying to squeeze that into everybody's training plans as much as possible. I just love 2K reps like this, so I can sustain that 1K pace, but for 2K reps, that's how I play it in my head. Like,
nice.
Yeah, I love 2K reps. But my main big marathon session would be over under. I think I've got one coming up, which is 18K of effort, obviously with warm up and cool down separate. But over under my marathon pace, 10 seconds over, 10 seconds under, every kilometre alternating for that 18K. So you average out at marathon pace. I love that one. It keeps me, like, my brain working the entire time. I don't really zone out as much.
It's so satisfying, that session. Like, if you nail it and you look at your splits afterwards and you see your Strava graph and it's like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah,
I can't work.
I love it.
When you don't quite nail it, it doesn't look as good. But yeah, we keep trying. But yeah, I think there's something so cool about 2 kilometer reps. I can relate. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that, like, if you love it, your clients should love it as well. I know for sessions that I love doing, I'm like, cool, okay, I want to do it with them. I'm sure they want to do it with me. Let's get this into a lot of the plans. So that's awesome. And that leads me on to my next question for you. So you're obviously a full-time, you have a full-time job. You're basically almost a full-time athlete in many ways, representing England. And you're a full-time coach in many ways as well. So you've basically got 3 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
How on earth are you balancing it all? You know, I know it's obviously not that easy, but yeah, please let us know how you're finding everything and the balance and how you balance it best.
After London, I struggled with that balance. I won't lie, like it was all so crazy, and nothing in my life I was doing to my best potential because everything was being so clouded. So when I was running, I was thinking about the work I should be doing, or when I was with my friends, I was thinking about the training plans I needed to do, and when I was at work, I was thinking about running, and I had to really learn to decompartmentalize everything in my head so that when I was at work, I was focused on my job, and then when I was with my friends, I was with my friends and with my boyfriend and having quality time with them. And then I set time aside for my coaching. That does sometimes mean like taking days off work, just like holiday to do my coaching when there's a lot. And I've got lots of client calls to fit in a day. I really love being busy. It does fuel me. I always say I'd be the worst housewife ever. If I had to cook dinner and do the washing, I'd still leave them both to 5 minutes before like my husband came home. I need to be busy. It's always like ask a busy person to do something and they'll get it done. And also, prioritising time management. I did definitely do a work call this morning in some recovery boots. So anything that can overlap works. But yeah, I think I've got the hang of it all now and I'm loving it all. And it all fits together, those 3 jobs. I work in sports advertising, so they really understand my job. Coaching, I'm absolutely loving at the moment. And seeing other people get their PBs is almost as good as me getting PBs, and it inspires me so much. Like when I'm feeling a bit like tired or down, and then I like speak to a client and I like see how well they're training and how they're going to smash this marathon, I suddenly am so inspired because it doesn't matter what pace you're aiming for in a marathon or any race. Everyone is just trying to do their best, and it doesn't matter if you're like the most elite or you are like doing your first marathon, you're still trying to do your best. So we can all be inspired by each other and learn from each other.
Thanks so much for sharing. You know what? I can relate to that. Like, it's something I don't talk about enough, is that synergy between like coach and runner and how you thrive with each other. So, often a lot of runners that you're doing, obviously everyone goes through phases, but will smash out impressive performances. You thrive with that result, and then it helps you reach levels you knew you were never capable of. And it's just like a reoccurring, awesome synergy cycle. It's just really, really cool. But yeah, it's something, I'm also always trying to get the balance right. I think we're very similar in the fact that we like being busy and there's so much on the go all the time. Boom, boom, boom. It would be boring if there wasn't much on the go. But one good thing about those recovery boots that you've just recently got yesterday is that you can work and recover at the same time. So that's the cool thing. You can't really foam roll and work or massage gun and work. But recovery boots, you can spend time on training peaks, client calls. I often have client calls or corporate calls almost with the top half looking normal, the bottom half in massive recovery boots. And that's completely acceptable in our world.
100%.
Okay, cool. So obviously, you've achieved so much in the last 2 years. I'm incredibly proud of that. I still feel like there's so much more you can achieve. I think, do you know what? I think we should shoot for the stars. Like I've always said to Anya, one day I want her to be in the Olympics and I want to be that coach in the crowd saying, back in my day, I did this, and I was a semi-decent runner and stuff. But yeah, it's like something I keep visioning, and I really, really hope will come true at some stage. But yeah, I think it's important to set like mini goals en route. Obviously in the running world, nothing happens overnight. We know this. And we want to keep the enjoyment factor there always. We don't want to take the enjoyment out to try and shoot the lights out. And I feel like you run your best when you're enjoying it. So we want to keep that there the whole time. But yeah, do you want to let us know what you're going into Copenhagen Marathon in May? What's the goal for that? And then the goals beyond, if you're keen to share something.
Well, exciting things coming up. So Copenhagen is in May, so I've got 10 weeks training block, 2 weeks taper. And that will be exciting. We will revisit before what kind of time we're going
Sorry,
for.
on that note, we had like the perfect plan for Manchester. This curveball came along. It was such a good opportunity.
Yeah.
So Training Peaks just went poof, and we're having to do a whole bunch of new and exciting long runs never tried before. So
yeah,
we'll
I
see how
can
those
be the
work
guinea
out.
pig. On that note, yeah, things come up in the future. Nick has said there will be some long marathon sessions where I won't know the plan and I'll just stick to him and I will just have to keep up with him, not know what's coming, not know how long it is. So excited for that. I genuinely am excited for that. Petrified, but excited.
Cool. Just a bit of background on that as well. So if I give Anya like a time target to hit where it's a flattish route like Battersea, she'll hit it all day long. But what I've said for this one, if I'm going to help out with some sessions, is that I'm not going to, I'll maybe tell her the session, but I'm not going to say the pace. And you know, I'll throw in a couple of surges every now and then because that mimics what racing is like. And I have no doubt this one will probably stick on me and, you know, in the not too distant future, hopefully overtake me.
Variety, spice of life. Yeah, so good block of training is ahead, with balance, with everything thrown in. And we're gonna, I feel comfortable saying it, I'm gonna shoot for a 2:32 or as close as possible to that. I'm saying everything I'm doing at the moment, like when I put in the locker at the gym is 2:32.
Going to a locker.
Don't do that. I have to change it now. But everything I'm trying to manifest. 2:32. Everything. That's going to be a big goal. That's what we're focusing on. And then I'd love to do another marathon towards the end of the year. Maybe Berlin, maybe Valencia, and see if we can push it even more. But I know as well as anybody that, as you say, small incremental targets, I need to focus on that because I'm going to have to start celebrating second PBs, like 10 seconds, 30 seconds. Like my journey's been so quick that I've always been like, celebrating 10 minutes and PBs of that kind of scale. So looking forward to that.
I think, you know what, it's really, it's nice that you know that you've knocked off 2 hours of your marathon time, but actually from here on in, minutes and seconds are going to be mean as much to you as they did before. The margins get tighter and tighter, as obviously I know in my marathon journey experience as well. But it's important for us to look at the bigger picture because that's where she's at now, and you know what events are coming up in different stages. But ultimately, we want to be mindful of those, plan to peak at a lot of those, but really only focus on the next race because the next race is the most important race. And there's going to come times where you're not going to PB. Yeah. It's not going to go according to plan. And you're still smiling. Things will be okay. And those are the ones we learn most from. Yeah. But until then, you know, let's focus on the positives and let's pretend that's never going to happen.
I've got years.
Exactly. You're so young still.
No rush at all. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So 2:32. On that note, you know what I've always said to Anya, and she's very good at it, is that like for London Marathon, we set a pace target. I don't know if it was like 3:37 or what it was. So I told her, you know, she needs to eat, breathe, sleep 3:37s. I was like, you need to get comfortable at 3:30 a K. You know, if you're going to be running 3:37s, 3:30 a K must start feeling more and more achievable. And that really resonated well with you.
I was say, it's mad how that happened. And now, tempo, pace, I can easily hit those paces now and it feels really comfortable,
Amazing. So it's a learning for all of us. You know, if your marathon pace is 5 minutes a K, eat, breathe, sleep 5 minutes a K, train at that or a little bit faster so that come race day, it feels a lot more comfortable. Okay, last question. It's talked about a lot in the running world recently, thanks to the Ingebrigtsen brothers, but double threshold days, there's a lot of articles about it. I have no doubt it's an effective way of training. I haven't tried many yet, or even at all yet, because first of all, I haven't got a lactate tester to be able to prick myself. Second of all, I've been super tight for time because obviously you have to, if you're doing a session in the morning and doing a session in the evening, it's really crucial to focus on recovery in between. You almost need to live a professional athlete life to be able to do it effectively. You need to monitor your lactate levels throughout, which means, you know, stopping quickly, pricking your finger, taking blood, seeing where you're at. It's something that I definitely want to maybe try incorporate, especially in my Berlin block, but Anya actually spoke to me about it last week and asked if I could maybe, put some in a plan or together as coaches, we could put it in our runners' plans at some point. But yeah, having a better understanding of, how much effort it actually takes. Yeah. Are you still keen for them? And if you are, should we give it a try? Yeah. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, double threshold days. I think I would love them.
Okay.
But I also can see, positives and negatives to it. I think we were kind of saying that would replace a session day, because it's hard work. So maybe like one a month, not every single week kind of thing. I think it'd be really good if you are trying to push for that extra level of running to start double threshold days, just to reach that next step up. But I don't think they are like the be all and end all, and that's going to make a runner or not. It's not the secret formula to running at all. If anything, sometimes if I do track first thing in the morning, like I did this morning, I might not run till Wednesday night, and that's effectively 2 days of like recovery, which you wouldn't get doing double threshold days. So recovery would have to be really key, and you'd have to make sure you have time in your diary for that. The last thing you want is not hitting like threshold paces because you're not recovered, because you're tired, and then they just become unproductive. But if you're committed to it and want to do it, which I do want to do, I want to try it anyway. I'll see how I do. I think it could be really helpful.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Let's give it a go. One thing to be mindful of is that you're not putting your body too much into a state of fatigue because it's threshold work. So at least you're fitting in more volume, but not as intense. So you're able to recover a little bit quicker than you would for a session. But you might find that actually, after your current sessions, that longer recovery time works. There's only one way to find out, right? And that's to try, but let's try that in the next block.
Yeah.
Let's not test the things ahead of Copenhagen. But no, honestly, it was awesome to chat to you today, and thanks so much for, like I said, making my job so rewarding. It's been one hell of a journey, and we're just getting started. And I can't wait to see what the future lies in store for you and us. And we'll definitely have another Q&A at some point, potentially before or after your attempt in an England vest. But if you have any other questions you want to know, pop them in the comments below. Anya, thanks so much. Awesome work, onwards and upwards.
I have Nick to thank for so much, let me tell you. Like, I couldn't do it without him.
Cheers.